Today, it's the case of wreck the truck, pass the buck. This 90s Blazer broke on the trail, but who's at fault? We'll gather evidence and make a final ruling. All rise. TruckU is now in session.
The plaintiff, Jeremy. He's the owner of a 1990 Blazer and spent a lot of his own time and money getting his rig off-road ready just to have his so-called friend borrow it for a trip and bring it back in pieces.
Loser.
The defendant, Ryan. He's accused of messing up his buddy's truck and not willing to pay for it. It's the case of wreck the truck and pass the buck. The TruckU courtroom is now in session.
Court is now in session. Let's hear your arguments.
Well, it's pretty easy, Your Honor. Pretty simple. I built that pretty awesome truck back there, and I was gonna jump over school buses and...
Perhaps it's best.
Okay.
Your Honor, what my client is trying to say is the fact that he's an expert builder. He built a perfectly capable four-wheel drive vehicle. That man, who proved himself to be a klutz when he walked in here this morning, wrecked his truck and should be responsible for all the damages.
Well, Your Honor, I vehemently disagree. The project was built with absolutely no skill, no thought, no planning. It was quite honestly a death trap, and I'm just lucky that my good friend here, Ryan, or Brian, or whatever it is, he's here today. You know, we could have lost him over that tragedy.
It's my business.
You know what? I think we're going to countersue him, well, for injuries and damage, and poor guy, he was never quite that bright, but he's not real bright at all now.
I object.
He's scaring me, man.
I object. Your Honor, the evidence will clearly show that several months ago, this man had scheduled a vehicle to be appearing on the hit cable television show TruckU, but he wrecked it.
Your Honor, I
just
object.
days
I object, Your
before.
Honor, because that
You
is
can
very
object all you
damaging
want.
to my case.
That is, this man thought it was a good idea to drive his truck without his knowledge. I want answers, and I want the truth.
You want the truth?
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Order! Let's examine the evidence. We'll go on to the vehicle.
We got this.
I'll give you objection.
We'll handle this.
Take you outside, show you a little objection.
Shoot. Old man.
Come get some, boy. Trip. Punk. Huh, this is interesting.
Now, Mr. Massel, in the interest of full legal disclosure and not jumping to any hasty conclusions, I think it would be best for all parties involved if we came down here and actually took a look at what went down and try to figure this out.
That's something that I can agree with. You know, we'll get an objective look as to what was done and what was attempted to be done and what the whole thought process was here.
Well, here's the thought process. You wanted a 3-link front end with the leaf spring rear, all right? Okay. That would deliver the power in the rear but give a greater flexibility in the front so that they could climb over rocks and obstacles and what have you, you know? So I think the idea was good. They started with a good, sound game plan.
Now, theoretically, it sounds great. He's got a good game plan. Just the way that it was implemented, well, I think that might be slightly flawed. Exhibit A. Now, Exhibit A, you can see right here, there's a small crack in this support frame. And it doesn't look like it's that bad of a deal, but what it is, it's telling to what happened on the other side. You see, there's actually 3 pieces of tubing here welded together, and he went ahead and ground down the welds to make it nice and smooth, so cosmetically, it looks okay till you get the crack.
Nice and smooth.
Practically, though, you come to the other side and you realize, oh dear Lord, what was he thinking? You've got absolutely no penetration on the welds. He never beveled the edges. All he was doing was basically wasting lead and then grinding it right back off. So you snap this right here, and you snap this toilet paper roll that he put in place to support it all. He actually had to weld this together just to get it in the trailer.
Toilet paper rolls do not rust. Now, here's what happened. My client built a fully functioning 4-wheel drive vehicle that held up. He never did any damage to it before, and we've already proven the case that your client is a crazy driver. I think the case is
To damage it, all you had to do was sit in it. Let's look a little bit further. Let's go exhibit, I don't know, where are we at? C? D at this point. You got these metal tabs where you got 3/8 bolts, 2 of them to hold up what 6,000-pound vehicle. When you hit the force, let's say hitting a rock at any kind of speed, it's going to about double that. These luckily didn't shear right off, and to support that, like I said, he used a toilet paper roll, which is like a 16th wall steel here, and cobbled it to the frame. I mean, this thing folded so bad it actually sheared off the rubber mount for the transmission. This was a death trap.
You make some good points. All right. But again, I'm not going to jump to any hasty conclusions. So I think in the interest of safety in both parties, what we need to do, realistically, is get this completely out of here and start over with a new system. That'll be better. We can solve the deliberations later on.
Yeah, let's just get some pliers and a blowtorch and just start cutting away, buddy.
Or we could just jump it again and break it all out.
That would be a lot more fun.
Bruno, this glove doesn't fit.
Oh, well, you know what that means.
It just doesn't fit. All right, now that we got everything cut out of here, we can get it over there to the table and take a look at all the damage that your guy did to it.
You mean when we come back from break, we can show you guys exactly what some of the design flaws with his guy's handiwork.
Hearsay, Your Honor. I don't know what you're talking about.
This segment of TruckU is brought to you by CheapCycleParts.com, your online source for motorcycle and ATV parts and gear. Easy to use, easy to save.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right there. Hey, welcome back. Our Blazer trial continues here today, and right now this is proof positive that my client is completely innocent. This is the cross member underneath the Blazer that was the reason why we had all the failures, because his client was negligent. He put this thing together. It's a 3-link system. In theory, it was a great idea. The application of it was awful. Look at this thing. It is a butcher job if there ever was one, and proof positive that my client is innocent.
Not only are you jumping to conclusions, but you're also making wild accusations, and I have no time for that, right? So in the interest of keeping our legal fees down, we need to rebuild this and do it quickly. Now, you did say something right, though, that the 3-link design is good on paper. The design is fine. It was just the application was bad, so we need to redo it, make it a little bit more structurally sound, double it up right there, and I think it's going to be good. That way, in the future, if you're crazy driving client or anybody else that can't drive gets behind the wheel of that, we don't have to worry about it grenading the whole truck again. That's how we need to do this.
I think we make a little side deal here that we agree your client doesn't drive and my client doesn't drive, and everyone will be a lot safer.
It's like a plea bargain or something.
Hey,
right?
While you were talking, this is what I was thinking here. I whipped this up real quick. Just a sketch. You know, it's not exactly to scale, but I think this should give us the design we're looking for.
I noticed that. That's actually pretty impressive.
You like that?
Yeah,
I mean,
that is.
you know, I'm working on it.
That's good.
I need a few measurements here. We'll start cutting.
Listen, 14 inches, 14 and a half actually. All right?
Is that
on
the
top
long
with the
side or the
45s.
short?
Long side, 45s. I'll get you the rest of these measurements in a minute, but that's what we need to weld to the frame.
So measure
Once,
cut twice.
5 times. Yes.
You like that, huh?
Everybody knows that. That looks good.
That'll work.
The twin will look nice right over here too. So we have all the pieces cut up for the new setup and everything's looking good. We've got to weld that into place here in a little bit. But before we do that, let's take a look at a couple different things. Now, the link bars are staying the same. The angles are staying the same. There wasn't a problem or an issue with any of that. That was all fine. The issue was all in that single cross member that went across and how it was welded in and how it was attached to everything. It was just poorly done. So what we're going to do is take that same idea, which ideally that's pretty good. We're going to double it up in the strength, run 2 cross members right there, just box them all in a nice big strong rectangle, and then this thing will be set to take a lot more abuse than it was, and it shouldn't be breaking again.
Now, you know, a single cross member would actually work in this application if you wanted it to. It all depends on the cross braces you have. Structurally, it can happen, but you've got to have a lot of support front to back. What we're going to do is we're going to really reinforce this thing by using a box design by having 2 cross members. Now, the idea here is if you've got 2, in a box design, if you hit it front or back or side to side, you're going to have to pull the other 3 tubes to get it to bend. And likely, well, it's not going to happen, let's be honest with you, especially if it's welded correctly. And looking at the guys we are supporting and we're defending in this case, man, we want all the support we can get.
I would say the only way you're going to bend that box design right there is to jump it off a house, but you never know with these two. You might be onto something, because the bottom line is the box is only going to be as strong as the welds that are holding it together. And when we come back from break, we're going to take a look at some of the old welds and why those failed, among other things.
Yeah.
When your taillight goes out on your Chevy truck, don't just replace the burnt out bulbs. Grab an LED taillight lens from LMC Truck. The lens has a self-contained circuit with a plug on the end that will install in the factory bulb location. The install is just as fast as replacing a bulb, but now you have the benefits of LED lighting. LEDs are brighter and snap to life faster, so your taillights will come on quick, making your truck safer to drive. Plus, LEDs last much longer than traditional bulbs. This tip is brought to you by LMC Truck. Restore, maintain, and customize your truck with parts and accessories from LMC Truck. This segment of TruckU is brought to you by Schumacher Electric Corporation. Experience, ingenuity, and excellence in battery maintenance.
Hey, welcome back. Now, we've talked extensively about some of the structural problems they had with the cross member on this Blazer. Now, think about it. You could have the best structural design possible, but if it's not welded together properly, you're going to have some issues, and that's the other factor that came into play here. Now, first of all, I want to give you guys a little bit of a demonstration of the right and wrong way to go about welding in terms of getting penetration. So we've got two little examples here. What they did with this cross member is he actually just butted the metal up together and gave it surface weld across the top, and that's what happened here and happened here. When you do that, you're not penetrating into the metal with the weld at all because it has nowhere to go but to go across the top. To make matters worse, they went and ground down the weld, so basically ground off all the weld they had, so there's nothing there holding together, and this was the end result. Now, to do it properly, to get penetration all the way through the metal, what you need to do is get a bezel like this going. So now when you put the metal together, you start to lay a weld or a bead right through the middle here. It's going to penetrate all the way into the metal. You can go ahead and grind it all back down nice and flush. It'll look nice and pretty, but you've got essentially one solid piece all the way through, and it won't break. This way, we're going to have a nice structural design. It's going to be sound as can be, and we're going to have sound welds all the way through, so it won't break no matter who's driving it. And to drive home my point with you guys, I want to show you guys by giving a little example here of the right and wrong way to do these welds. Well, I allowed both my samples to cool off, as you should anytime you weld, and I'm pretty confident in how poor this weld is and how good this one is. What I'm trying to drive home is the point of having no penetration inside your welds, as was in this cross member right here. Look at right here. You can see that nothing went down into the metal. It's clearly just a surface weld. Now, if you look at the one here, done properly, with the taper, you've got a full weld all the way through, and you've got complete penetration. Now, in this scenario here, they actually went ahead and ground the top of it and ground that weld off. Well, I'm pretty confident this is going to fail without even grinding it. I'm going to clamp it in place and show you guys that with just the force that I can deliver with a hammer, which, well, might be a little lacking, is nothing compared to what it'll take with a Blazer hitting a rock or going down a trail. Watch this. And that is exactly what happened out on the trail. It was just a surface weld, and you look right here, you can see what I'm talking about. No penetration whatsoever. It was simply welded across the surface, and we left all of that weld there. We didn't grind it off. Now with the one with penetration, you're going to clamp it into place, and I'm going to hit this thing as hard as I can, and I really don't see it going anywhere. And the reason why is because it's penetrated into the metal, and it's almost like it's one continuous piece at this point. That is what happens when you have a proper weld. Here is the plaintiff's case, and this is my case, the defense rests, Your Honor.
So, I hate to admit this, but Bruno makes a very compelling argument, and I'm feeling somewhat less than confident on behalf of my client. But we'll get to that later on, because in the meantime, it's time to make some brackets. So we move the party over here to the ProTable CNC plasma cutting system from Tracker CNC. Now, I know a lot of you guys around the country that have this machine, and you love it because it's so much fun cutting the metal. And when you order it and it gets delivered, you can set it up within a couple hours, and you are cutting pretty much anything you want to cut, from the thinnest metal all the way to that thick 1-inch thick steel. That's for you guys that are making like a homemade gun safe or looking for a spot to hide some stuff, if you know what I mean. But either way, we got to get these brackets done. So here's what we do. We bring the information over to the computer and we feed it in. We've got the size we want, the shape we want, all the bends, everything is proportionate to the way we want. We punch it in, and when we're ready to go, we hit play and we do the cutting. The machine does the work. You gotta love it. All right, let's get up here. It's time to dance. Even if you're not all that computer savvy, don't freak out that there's a computer hooked to the machine. That's a good thing. It's easy to learn and it's easy to use. And the guys at Tracker CNC back it up with unlimited customer support and training. So they're not going to leave you out to dry. And there's a 3-year warranty. And think of the fun you're going to have cutting up everything that is metal. It's going to be awesome. Now we need to go to break. I need to get these back over to the truck. And I need to figure out a way to force a mistrial or something, because things aren't looking good for this kid. A lot of people don't realize that when it comes to an AC problem in their vehicle, there is an alternative to taking it to the shop and spending a ton of money. This is the alternative. It's the do-it-yourself recharge kit from AC Pro.
And it is as easy as 1-2 squeeze. All you have to do is hook this can up to the low side of your AC system and you dial it in. Well, what you'll do is you've got a little gauge on the back. You set it for the ambient air temperature, the center line. Then you've got your parameters on the inside and outside. That's your high and low. Squeeze the trigger, allow it to fill inside those lines, and your system is now charged up with the coldest air possible, and it saved you a bunch of money and something you can do in just minutes.
Bruno said it's easy. Look, if you can put air in the tires, you can use this, and you too can be an AC Pro. This is Startron Enzyme fuel treatment, and it is specifically designed to deal with all the problems that people have with ethanol fuel. Now, here's something about ethanol fuel that I bet a lot of people don't even know.
Yeah, when you fill up at the pump, your fuel is cut with 10% ethanol. The problem happens is when that ethanol sits beyond 30 days, it starts breaking down that fuel inside your fuel system. You've got gumming and varnish building up inside the system. Now there's a fix for that. It's called Startron. You pour it in, and the enzymes in the Startron break down that gum, break down that varnish, and improve fuel delivery. So you're going to get increased power, and you're going to get increased overall performance because that varnish and that gum is now being destroyed by the Startron.
Yeah, the carburetors are cleaner, the injectors are cleaner, and the whole system is running a lot more smoothly. Now you take a look at some of the sizes they have. These are for like your recreational vehicles right here. These would be for your everyday vehicles on the street. They even have an application for diesel engines as well. So keep in mind, the problem is not necessarily with your engine, it's with your fuel. We know a lot of you guys are working on classic vehicles out there because you send us pictures of them. Keep them coming. We love them. Here's the problem. How do you insure a one-of-a-kind vehicle? Well, that's where these guys come in. It's Condon Skelly Collector Vehicle Insurance.
Yeah, you've got this vehicle, you put your life and soul into it, you put a lot of time and a lot of money, and unfortunately a lot of people are afraid to actually take them out and enjoy them because they're afraid, well, what happens now if something happens? They trail it around or they keep it under a tarp. Well, now you can rest assured that your investment is going to be protected because these are car guys. They get it. You're going to get agreed upon value for your vehicle so you can go out and enjoy it, have peace of mind, know that if something were to happen, you're going to be covered.
Yeah, you're going to have all the fun you can in your classic vehicle with the peace of mind that insurance provides from the guys at Condon Skelly. Whether it's a classic car or a brand new vehicle or just a regular car that you want to help look a lot better and protect it, everybody knows this is a great way to do it. It's with the original Armor All Protectant.
The original Armor All Protectant is going to clean, protect, and shine up all that plastic, rubber, and vinyl both on the inside and outside of your vehicle. It's a great protective barrier against the harmful UV rays of the sun as well as oxidation. You're not going to get that cracking and that peeling or that fading of those surfaces. The Armor All Protectant will keep it looking brand new.
And you've got the sprays, you've got the wipes, it comes in different scents, so not only is it going to look good, but it's going to smell fresh as well with the Armor All Protectant.
You know, you could use a little of that.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speed.com or visit our website at truckutv.com.
You good?
Yep.
All right. Welcome back to TruckU. So today, it's the case of break the truck, pass the buck. We took a look at a homemade built system right there that failed drastically. Everything went wrong. We took a look at why it failed and what we can do to avoid those failures in the future.
So what we've got is our dual cross members in place right now, and we're going to tie this whole thing together right here, and we're going to get a nice strong rectangle so it can't twist, it can't bend, it can't break. We're going to put in some cross members here as well. Now the whole idea is to tack weld this thing all in place while it's sitting up against the truck, because when you heat it up, it's going to want to twist, it's going to want to bend. We'll get everything set up, then we'll take it down. When it's down, we'll be able to roll it around and get welds complete all the way around. When that's said, we can put it up in place again and now weld it firmly to the frame rail of the truck. This way it's going to be nice and sound, man, and we'll have a strong cross member all the way through.
I think that's going to be great. But before we go any further, let's be honest with each other real quick. Those two dudes were weird, right? And we need to settle this, okay? I just don't want this case to go on any further. I want this to be done. Let's put it behind us. What can we do? Let's settle this right now.
Well, if you admit that I was steamrolling you, I'm willing to settle.
I'm fine with that. Let's get it done. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, 20 bucks, you buy dinner, and we have the judge sign a court order. They are never allowed to drive again.
I'm done, dude. Count me in on that deal. Definitely, no doubt about it. And
All
those
right.
two have no business driving anything, anytime. You're right.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I still can't believe you tried to sue me over this. I mean,
Well, you broke my truck. Oh, for goodness.
if you'd have built the thing right in the first place.
I looked at it myself.
Well, I can see that you looked
A
at
nice
it.
job.
Have you seen your glasses? Apparently not.
Oh, I looked at their cross member doesn't look half as good as mine did.
I mean, they spend half their time being lawyers. How can they be fabricators?
Good point, my man. We're driving this thing over some big old rocks. That's awesome. You're crazy.
Just guess it! Oh! Ah!
Nuts, you're gonna get us killed. Oh, mighty, I lost my glasses. I can't see anything without my glasses.
Oh! Oh my God! Woo-hoo! Ah! Woo! 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 Woo!
That was awesome. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Listen to all that power. What's that noise is?
What's that?
I think you just broke my truck.
I didn't break your truck.
I'm gonna sue the heck out of you.
You built this truck.
You were supposed to be my friend.
You built this truck.